Wow, excuse me. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm the Crypto Crow. And today I'm going to be talking about 5 of the top gainers, apparently, for 2020. And we're going to go into them a little bit. I'm going to try and keep this video as short as I can. I'm trying to keep some of these pre-recorded videos to under 20 minutes because I know that that's really kind of the most, I think, most people just want to listen to me ramble. But I saw this tweet from Crypto Differ. I'm not even sure what this is. I've never seen it before. But looking at the top 5 gainers, we're seeing UBT, CVT, Data, Lit, and BHT. Okay. And I see pre-search in this list. I see DGB. I see Lend, which that's surprising to a degree. But I'm looking at that and I'm thinking something's not right. I don't necessarily think that it's all it's cracked up to be. And so I decided to look into it, and I did. I started looking into it, and I'm thinking, okay, that makes sense. Now I understand why this is the case. And I'm going to share that. Looking at Bitcoin, we're on a little bit. This is a 4-hour chart. We're at 88.88 at this very moment. And it looks like we've been kind of going down a bit. We might be forming a doji candle for a reversal, or it could have a significant drop candle from here. We'll have to wait and see how that comes to be. But I mean, it looks like we have a bullish pennant forming with accumulation. And typically when you have something like this, it's more likely that if the sentiment has been bullish that established that pennant, that it's likely to break up. And given the fact that we're so close to the halving, it would make sense that this price would pump from here, but we'll have to see, because anytime the entire market thinks something specific is going to happen, the opposite tends to happen. But I would be shocked if we dropped much, given what's going on with the halving coming so soon. I am using the market cipher indicator. I'm using all 3 of them, and I will be having Crypto Face probably either Thursday or Friday, and we're going to do a big thing where he's going to show people again, how to use it, how he's using it, trades he's making, and just kind of go in depth, because I really do like the indicator. I did go to him because he's always coming to me. He's like, hey, when can I come on your channel again and talk about the indicator? I'm rocking it. And so we discussed details, and we'll share some of those details when we go live. We did work out kind of a little bit of a business thing where, he paid a fee. He paid me a fee, basically, to come on my channel and educate people about his indicator. And so we'll discuss that in full disclosure during that video. But I do, and I have liked this indicator. It's a little pricey, but I do like it. And he seems to, I've been watching some of his videos as well, just to try and better understand things and what he's looking for when using the indicator. And while it's a little pricey, it does seem to be people are kind of killing it with it. And so I'm thinking, all right, let's do this. We'll work something out and have you on, and hopefully you can teach people how to better understand all of this stuff going on here, because it looks like a mess, but it's actually not. It's pretty simple once you learn. So moving forward, first one we're going to look at is Unibright. Now, I've had people tell me in my channel, in my comments, because I do read the comments, what do you think about Unibright? What do you think about Unibright? And I haven't really paid a lot of attention to a lot of these projects, because I've been more focused on projects that had their ICOs in 2017, 2018, who's withstanding the bear market, who's been developing, who's been continuing to push their cause. Not so much brand new projects kind of entering the space at the bottom. Now, this is the first thing I looked at. And there's under $1 million a day in trading volume. So there's some liquidity. But if I'm going to the exchanges of Unibright, Hotbit, IDEX, Liquid, and Cost, I'm pretty sure Cost closed, didn't it? Unless I might be mixing it up. There's so many exchanges, and it's been difficult to. But I'm unless I'm mistaken, I thought something happened to Cost Exchange. It looks like total volume 0%, not regulated, showing 86 currencies. Yeah, there's no volume. Cost did close, so I don't even know why they're still listed on these websites. So the fact of the matter is that while there's about $800,000 a day in trade volume, that's not that much. Okay, to me, anything under $1 million is like troubling because it's going to be difficult to get in and out of those positions. Now, it's a little easier when that $1 million is consolidated to basically 1 or 2 exchanges with almost 70% on Hotbit alone, but I've never even heard of this exchange. I don't know that I want to use it. And there's just not as much, comfort there for me. Now, it's saying up 1,167% over the year. It's at 30 cents. Well, the thing of that is, and this has nothing to do with the project itself, but when you're talking about low volume on exchanges, I'm sorry, but it's a lot easier to pump these projects and make their values go up. And so, I'm a little hesitant on a lot of this stuff. When I see gains like this, I'm thinking, okay, sure, I see gains. How about projects that are pumping, 100, 200%, and they've got, 100 million in daily trade volume? That means something to me. That's liquidity. That's important to me as a trader. And especially when you're considering speculative trades, you have to have that liquidity. Because if they do get pumped and you are starting to, which is what happens with a lot of investors, you buy in on an upswing and not realizing what's happening. You're not looking into the fundamentals. You're not understanding the project. You're just buying, you're chasing candles basically. It's more likely that you're going to get caught and end up holding bags for a while, and because you're not going to have the liquidity to get in and or out of it. So now, when we look at the project itself, blockchain-based business integration, the project sounds kind of like polymath to me in a way. I feel like I've seen other projects out there like this, and it sounds good. Like open platform was supposed to be something like this, and apparently their system is up, but from what I understand, they've been having different legal troubles and things like that, so they haven't been actively pushing it, and which sucks because I went in pretty big on open. And I see projects like this and I'm thinking, once bit, twice shy. I don't really know what to expect about these, because the reality is that for these kinds of projects to do really well, they really need to get some high-end partners that are launching significant applications within their platform. And while the idea sounds great, like Simple Token was something like this, I've seen it before. And for me, I don't really think about things in terms of, well, the grass is greener on the newest side. Just because this is brand new and it's flashy and it looks cool, it's like I've seen this song and dance. So me personally, I'm not overly exuberant about it. But if others are, that's fine. But for me, I would rather focus on the projects that have lasted through this bear market. That's just my personal opinion. I've learned that until you get into a position of dominance, until you've become kind of the brand name, like Celsius Network to me has become kind of the brand name for blockchain lending. Okay, and I know there are many others out there, but for me, I'm looking at what is the Nike of this sector? What is the Kleenex of this sector? That's what I'm looking for anymore. And that comes with time and proving to maintain yourself over time. A lot of these brand new projects, while being really good for speculation, to me aren't necessarily capturing my interest. Now, Cybervein was another one. It's sitting at 2 cents right now. It's been dropping already a bit, but up 121% for the year. I don't know how that's a top gainer. I don't even know how this has ended up on this list. If we look at the volume, $5,500. I could pump this myself and give this gains. How is it even dropping? That doesn't make sense to me. So when I see this, when I'm looking at exchanges, hit BTC, I'm sorry, I'll never use that exchange. I just won't. I don't really trust many exchanges out there. And the ones that I do aren't in this list. You've got 2 platforms, and it just doesn't sound like a lot of availability. And I'm just kind of like, what is happening here? Now, going into the technology of it, sure, it sounds cool. It sounds very interesting. It's basically taking, it's creating a system by which multiple companies are incentivized to share data en masse to other companies through an immutable database system. So, and they're basically incentivized using this token, and they're sending and receiving data to and from each other, yada yada yada. Okay, it sounds cool, but it's also one of those things that unless you get some really large, like if these guys came out and said Google is going to start sharing their database content or their database data and their their viewership metrics and their demographic metrics and things like that to help other advertisers better establish themselves on the internet and get a head start on knowing what people want, what they're looking for, and so forth and so on. And they were doing it through Cybervein. If something like that were to happen, I'd be like, wow, that's huge, because there's going to be a lot of companies out there buying into it. Right now, to me, it's just kind of an idea with some fledgling. I mean, I haven't looked that deep into their big partners because I just haven't noticed many. It sounds like an idea. Media partners, CoinGate, AMB Crypto, cool. I don't see any mention of anything significant, any significant partnerships. Now, that's not to say that they don't have any, but they're obviously not readily available at first glance when I'm looking at this. And I'm not diving deep into these projects right now, guys. So some of you guys are going to think, oh, Crow's crazy. He doesn't like this. Yeah, I'm sure you're going to feel that way if you hold bags of it and you've invested in it and you believe in it. That's okay. Passion and profit is what I always say. If you find a project and through your research you discover that you're very, very excited about something, chances are others will be too, and maybe it's not a bad investment. I always say, I'm not always right. I'm just some guy on the internet. These are my own opinions. Whether they be good or bad or neutral, they're just my own personal opinions, and it doesn't mean that you should act on them either way. I went to Cybervein's Twitter, and I'm like, okay, 33,000 followers. That's pretty cool. Interconnecting the data that runs the world. There are so many of these types of projects out there right now, though, and there are so many that are looking to interconnect each other and utilize these utility tokens as a measure of monetary value and so forth and so on, fueling the system. Cool. But okay, here's another one. Streamer data token. I actually like this project, to be frank with you. Up 341% over the year, up 265% against Ethereum for the year. That to me is big. How much? Oh, look, $26 million in volume. To me, this is one of the more legitimate projects out there with a strong foundation and some legs to move on. And that is what I'm looking for. As a matter of fact, during my bot trading, we're still testing Crow Trader. And this is Crow Trader, for those of you that are interested in trading altcoins with a bot. But data is one of the most volatile tokens on the market against Bitcoin. So it makes for pretty good and fun in and out, transactions. A lot of good volatility there. Which is what you want when you're bot trading. You want volatility. So, but Streamer is the missing real-time data protocol for the decentralized web. And I could play the little video, and you can go to the website. This isn't about project reviews, but I went big because I'm learning, and I have learned that when I'm bot trading, I really only want to trade projects that I like. I'm not just about that quick pump and dump profit. Moving forward, that's not my goal. My goal is to trade projects that I like, so that if Bitcoin happens to pump and the altcoin doesn't pump as much and I end up with a bag, that I'm still at least holding a bag of something I think is going to be fruitful over time, and that the likelihood of that volatility swing coming back and meeting where I'm able to exit that position at profit, that's what I'm looking for. Not necessarily looking for 1,000 trades in a day right now. I'm looking for less trades that are more profitable in projects that I think are actually going to do well. Data and Streamer is actually one that I liked. I was actually pretty impressed. And the more I dove into it, the more I was like, you know what? This could actually be something as we move forward. Check that out. But that was one that I'm like, okay, I get that. I get Streamer and, data as it's called. And it's got volume, and it's got, go figure, it has exchanges. Oh, Binance, Bitfinex, co-vesting, which is US regulated. And then it's on HitBTC, the Bancor network, and some others. But almost 99% of its volume is traded on Binance. Go figure. So there's some strong liquidity there. There's a potentially strong use case as we move forward. So we'll see how that turns out. Next is Lit. I see a lot of people commenting on Lit, and I've been kind of thinking, I don't know, what's this about? I haven't dove deep into these. Negative 3.71% and over the year, it's currently sitting at 10 cents. Okay. Looking at the volume, only $258,000 in daily trading volume, which, that's activity, but again, it's easy to manipulate the price of this token one way or another. It still is. Looking at the exchanges that it's on, Hotbit, again, IDEX. Come on. Okay. If you're already using those exchanges, but I've noticed that some exchanges really do like to specialize in the very obscure kind of brand new projects that are unproven and untested. And as long as people are wanting to trade it, whether it be from the popularity of their ICO marketing or whatever the case may be, some of these exchanges are willing to carry it and profit from the trading activity. More power to them, but I'm not really one for using a lot of these. I use one kind of little known exchange just because, but that's it. The blockchain standard for business. Lishion is developing the only scalable public-private blockchain with deletable data features made for commercial products. Lishion is, and I guess that's how you pronounce it, Lishion is a two-layer blockchain infrastructure on top of Ethereum that enables commercial usage of dApps. The Lishion protocol complements the Ethereum main chain by adding features such as privacy, scalability, and deletability for GDPR compliance. Everybody can choose to build on Lishion without the need for permission. P2P energy trading platform. We already kind of have that, don't we? Are they trying to say that Power Ledger is using them? Because I don't see any of that. BCT Fitness just subscribed. Even though I'm recording this isn't live, but I still get notifications. Lishion pool staking, run your own node as featured in partners, SAP, Microsoft, Volksbanken, GasAg, Stanford Business. Okay, cool. Law Pilots, Longhash, Token. They've got a bunch of different partners. That's cool. To what extent these partnerships are in play, I don't know. But, it's one of those things where volume's not that high. All-time high price of 37 cents. How is this a top performer at 10 cents? And this is why, and the point of this video is, don't always believe the hype you see. Just because you see something on Twitter doesn't mean it's something you should just dive blindly into. For the same reason that even if any of us YouTubers are bullish on something, you shouldn't just dive blindly into it. It's just not how you should operate. BHAT. Now, this I was like, what the hell is this? Trade volume of almost $800,000 a day. And its exchanges, Huobi and Huobi Korea. All right. There's no yearly metrics, apparently. It's up 209% over the month. So that's cool. But then you go to the website and it's actually now referred to as HBTC. And it looks like an operating coin for an exchange platform, as if we don't already have plenty. Look. When it comes to cryptocurrency investing, and on top of that, I went and looked up some of the metrics. The only one of those tokens that has any on-chain metrics on Masari is the data token or streamer. And really not too bad. It's got a flip side FCAS grade of B. Unibright and Cybervein, they're listed on here, but there's no on-chain data, and the other tokens aren't listed at all in the whole database. So there's just no information to be found whatsoever. Maybe it's because they just need to be added. I don't know, but they're not there. And so that to me scares me, because I like to at least be able to see the on-chain metrics and the data associated with the project in real time, and I want to know what's happening. I want to see active addresses, how many people are using it. I want to see what's going on. And I prefer using Masari, even though I feel like, A, they shouldn't be charging me for a pro account, and B, I feel like they're kind of expensive, because I've talked to some projects who are not listed on here, and apparently it's because they just can't afford to be. So that sucks. I figure I would like to see them change their business model a little bit, but I've ragged on them enough about that. Listen, folks, the very idea of investing in altcoins and cryptocurrencies, to me, is about furthering the use case, furthering adoption, furthering mass adoption. We want people to utilize these projects and increase the performance of the tokens that we all invest in, know, and love. It's like treasure hunting. It's finding that diamond in the rough, or those diamonds in the rough. But the idea of it also is to make sure you are educated about where you're putting your money. You're not always going to be right. You're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. You never want to put all your eggs in one basket, and diversification is often key to a successful portfolio, because anything can happen to any project at any time. You only want to invest what you can afford to lose, because let's face facts, when crazy things happen in some of these projects, none of us can see it coming. Some of these projects that we're going to see moving forward into the bull market are going to be outright scams. They're going to have fake teams and fake this and fake executive staff. You're going to see all kinds of craziness. We saw absolute madness in 2017 and 2018, and we're going to see it again. And there are going to be times when us YouTubers are going to like something. When some of these sites are pumping, or not necessarily pumping, but crypto differ, pushing information like this out there, and I'm thinking, these numbers aren't even accurate from what I'm seeing, at least based off of what's on Coin Paprika. So, like, is this a paid advertisement of some kind? Like, how does this work? Where are they getting their data? And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe what they're showing here, they're showing 1,609%. But if I go to Unibright here, it's showing 1167%. Why the difference? I'm not sure I understand. I guess maybe it was as of the day this was posted. So let's take a look at that real quick. This was very recently. This was on May 5th. This was today. So where are these numbers coming from? And why is this structured in this way? All I'm really saying is, just because you see something, doesn't necessarily mean it's something you should run out and pick up. Okay. I don't really know what else to say other than that. I'm not saying that any of these projects are bad. I didn't dive in deep enough to any one of them to really make that distinction in my own personal opinion yet. So I'm not saying whether I'm bullish or bearish on any of these. That really isn't the point of this video. The point of the video is to make sure that you keep your eyes wide open, not wide shut. Don't just see something on the interwebs and say, that looks good, I'm going to buy some of that because it's gaining so much. There are other factors that play into the price action of just about everything in the crypto space. And oftentimes it's the fundamentals of a particular project that spawn the sentiment. And with that sentiment, there has to be strong enough liquidity for that sentiment to be able to be carried through. The more liquidity a project has, and by that I mean the more exchanges, the better exchanges with the more people, the easier it is to get in and out of positions. When somebody sees something that they like, it's easier for them to enter that position, buy some, raise the price of the token, and that's how speculative investing kind of shapes up. And then we start getting that volatility as people buy or sell on news. A lot of these projects are still in their infancy, and they're still very, very early. And when you're talking about the market sentiment where we are, where the entire market has come down, we've been in a bear market for a while. Yes, I believe technically I think we're in a bear market or a bull market now, but now we have the COVID outbreak. We have all this stuff going on. that none of us can control, but we are all victims of it. We're all victims of the sentiment of the market because of these things. Hell, the fact that Bitcoin is sitting at 88.59 and just slowly accumulating this close to the halving is a little scary, even though I still think it's likely we could see an $11,000 Bitcoin at the halving. I hope I'm right, but I never counted a COVID into this whole thing when I started calling it from like $4,000. I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody does. We just have to wait and see how things play out. Until next time, guys, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate all of your views, your likes. I love your comments, and I love your suggestions in the comments. I'm actually always looking at the comments, and I do tend to check out some of the projects that some of you post, as long as it's not super spammy. If it's super spammy or just terrible, then I typically just get rid of them. Yeah, until next time, guys, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again real soon.